Good afternoon and welcome to 365 Days of Amazing Stories with Theo Mayer. Here we are on day 28, 2025, and I'm continuing the story of what the rose did to the cypress. We left Prince Almas readying to do battle with this huge and fierce dragon that was crushing stones as it made its way across the marvelous meadow. You might remember that Prince Almas had laid down beneath this most beautiful tree that was in full blossom. He'd let his horse loose. He'd allowed it to graze close by, hobbling it so that it couldn't run away. And he was awakened by his horse pawing the ground. And when he got up and saw this dragon, he grabbed the bow of Salih, the scorpion of Solomon, and the dagger of Thumas, and girded all of those on. He took 3 arrows from the quiver, and he sent one arrow so fast and so hard that it penetrated all the way into the dragon until nothing was left to see of it. The dragon squirmed beneath the pain of this, but continued to make its way toward Prince Almas now, who was standing just a little ways away from this beautiful tree. Firing another arrow and another arrow, the dragon was slowed, but continued to make its way. Prince Almas pulled out his sword, the scorpion of Solomon, and with this, he cleft the dragon on the head and split it right through its neck into 2. As the dragon was dying, it let forth, vomited basically this horrible smelling and looking wretched stuff that completely covered Prince Almas. The smell was so overwhelming that he fell to the ground unconscious. After some time, he awakened, praising God in the 1,000 ways that he could. He went to the stream and cleaned himself off. And as he was doing so, he heard a ruckus in the tree above him. It turned out that the seamerg, I remember these birds, the seamergs had built their nest in this tree, and they had 3 young birds within it. Those birds were told by their parents not to peer out over the side of the nest while they were gone. But having heard all this ruckus of Prince Almas slaying the dragon, they had looked over, and they had seen this battle take place. In all the excitement, they had gotten somewhat hungry and began to make a clamor for food. Prince Almas then thought, well, here I have this dragon. I'll cut it up for them. And piece by piece, he fed the dragon to the 3 seamergs. Now, the seamergs were huge. Not like a bird that we would know, but many, many, many times bigger than anything that we would know. Soon the entire dragon was gone. The birds, they could do nothing more than fall asleep. They were so full. Prince Almas, exhausted from the battle and all that he had done, fell asleep as well. Some bit of time later, the 2 parent birds came flying back, and circling over the nest, they peered down and saw no movement from their nest, though they could see their 3 young ones. They could also see on the ground Prince Almas, who appeared asleep, and his horse grazing close by. Now the birds thought, this is the culprit. For years, they had been unable to raise their young. They would get to a certain point, come back from a day of gathering food, and the birds would be gone. The male bird turned to his wife and said, I'm going to grab this rock and I will smash that man so this never happens again. He went down and grabbed a huge rock, which he was going to let loose on top of Prince Almus. But his wife said, husband, stay a moment. We don't know exactly what has gone on, and if you were to kill an innocent man, we would be cursed for a very, very long time. They flew closer to the nest. The male bird still had this huge rock in his talons. The mother bird alighted, and the baby birds opened up their eyes but did not make a sound because they were just so full. She asked what had happened, and they told her the story and the father. See, she said, if you had injured that man, would have been cursed. The father took the stone and let it loose in a way and place far away where it would do no harm, and returned. And of course, both were now filled with gratitude for Prince Almus, though they had not awakened him yet. And we'll stop the story there.